All right, back in the house of Sting. Is that known as the Hive, right? I guess. Welcome, everybody, here to
We are buzzing. We are buzzing, baby.
We better be.
Right? I hope so.
We better be buzzing, I'll tell you. Boy, what a tough road it has been for the Sarnia Sting as of recent, especially, what are we, 4 or 5 games down?
Yeah.
The Flint series, tragic.
Yeah.
Now, that being said,
you got to remember, though. I mean, that's a tough gig to take. I mean, you play the best team in the league 3 times in a row.
Yeah, back
right?
to back.
And I mean, they beat up on us like hard. That was some aggressive hockey. I mean, you got a young club. Who knows how they're going to take it, right?
They certainly did a good job of that.
Yes, they did.
And we're going to talk about what needs to be done now moving forward. But, yeah, those 3 losses back-to-back, and then on the way back, they stop in Windsor. That didn't go well. I think it was like 5-1 there. Now I want to go back.
There were some bright moments, though. I mean,
well, I want to go back. I want to go back to the last time we were here.
Okay.
Against Flint, and Coach Alan Letang was the post-game press conference, and it was sort of questioned as to when we had a power play, why didn't we see certain players on that power play? Why were we going to the younger guys like Harper?
Yeah.
Right? And again, I always commend Coach Letang. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he was straight to the point. He said, the reason was you don't get rewarded to go out and play for something you didn't help achieve.
Sure.
And that's not verbatim, but that's basically what he was saying was you don't get to go out and work on the power play if you didn't put in the effort in the beginning to get to the power play or whatever else was going on. And he's like, if we can't count on our top players, then.
Well, and you know what? It's really, I mean, it's a great point. I agree, 100%. I mean, the guys that want to be out there, like if they're performing, let's keep them out. Like let's get them out there, especially these young guys that are just starving for the experience and stuff like that, right? And I thought it was really interesting too because one of the things I saw honestly was that the whole mood on the ice changed when some of these young guys came out. I mean, one of my buddies who follows the Sting with me as well, he goes, when your Junior B and Junior C players are getting called up and they're pushing the flow of the game, that's not right. It means somebody's not doing something. It means your top end players.
But where's the leadership?
Where's 100%? You know what I mean? Like guys that that you have set those expectations on aren't living up to it. And maybe it is that there's not a lot of expectations on Austin Harper and McDonald and Wainwright and those guys. But you know what? I mean, they outperformed any expectations we did have of them.
Oh, 100%.
And I thought, I mean, that was awesome to see. It was awesome to watch. And it's inspiring to a degree, and I think, but that's not the guys that should be doing that, right? Like that should be coming from the members of the players on the team that have been around, the leadership of the team, those experienced guys. Like that's who should be pushing the flow of the game, and it just didn't happen.
I think that's what Coach Letang.
Kudos to the young guys and the big, to the experienced guys. Get it together, man. Get it together.
Now, how do you come out here now after so many losses, right? Recent back-to-back. We're playing a lot of hockey. Jay, we're going to be here at home.
Oh my goodness!
13 times in March here, right?
Yeah, so that's a lot.
That's not even. That's just home.
Yeah.
I think there's like 19 or 20 games total.
Bananas
for this team in March. So, how do you focus on practice with stuff like that? I mean, because you still got to get that stuff in. You still got to have some downtime. You've got to have that mental health break. You got to have that physical break. We talked about that physical break and mental health break many times with Ben Gaudreau, just doing it all the time.
Sure.
And Coach Letang said it again last game. We can't keep relying on Benny to keep winning games for us.
100%.
So I think for sure, there's been some hard conversations in that locker room of the Sarnia Sting.
Well, I think
that's important to do.
But here's the thing, though, Dave, is that the truth is, this is not just the Sting that are suffering through this a lot extra hockey, right? I mean, it's got to be across the board for every team in the O.
Well, for those that got postponed, right?
Yeah, for the COVID postponements and stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of teams that are fighting through that same thing.
Yes.
So, teams with better conditioning are clearly going to rise to the top, and those teams that whose conditioning isn't maybe right there, is not at their peak performance, they're going to suffer. And I think that's one of the things we're seeing here. I think is that, when you got a young team just coming in, I think there's a fitness level, a conditioning level that's just
for sure
maybe not all we want it to be, I guess, is what I'm saying.
All right. Well, that being said, now I want to talk about Ethan Richie. As far as last time we were here playing against Saginaw, he was a key player.
Yeah.
As he got one goal and 3 assists.
Yep.
And Ethan Richie really, we thought he was scratched the last game, I think it was, and he ended up being out there. So he's, I don't know if he's playing hurt or if that was an error, but he's really been a key player for this team when it comes to at least getting close to winning the game.
Sure. I agree with you, Dave, 100%. And he's, here's another younger guy who's, really stepping up to the plate. I want to see more out of him. I want to see, where this leads him for next year and years to come. But you're right. I mean, he's an exciting player, and I think, we talk a lot about, the ability to kind of think hockey and see hockey and know, that instinctive know where to be and when to be there, that kind of thing, in order to create opportunities. And I think he's one of those guys that has the real potential to step into to have that capability and to rise to the top of the team.
Well, we'll see about that tonight for sure. Here's the projected lineup: Namestnikov, Voigt, and Sekic.
Yep.
Filak, Hill, and Dan. And then we've got McDonnell, Wainwright and McIntyre, and then Lockin, Filak, and McIntyre.
And the only pairing there that I'm not really a big fan of is the line with. We need to see more out of the lineup with Namestnikov and Voigt. My problem there, honestly, Dave, is simply that you've got 2 kids here that have an incredible skill set, the ability to score. And they just don't do it. There's a lot of juggling, a lot of fancy passing that breaks down in the forward zone and stuff like that. I want to see more shots out of them. I want to see these guys attacking the net like they're hungry for it.
Right.
And I think...
Well, you mentioned that last time.
Yeah.
Why aren't these guys shooting?
Absolutely.
Have they been told to? I don't know. You got to know when to go for it, though, right?
Well, and there is something to be said, to having guys, rather than kind of floating into the zone and looking for passes and that sort of juggling the thing around, waiting for your team to come in.
Kind of flip the puck and here, come. I got it. Now you come and get it.
Absolutely, crash the net. Just get in there, and because one of the things I have seen that I really like is we do actually have a couple of guys that are really good at picking up those bounces. Those rebounds, the second shot, when the goaltender makes the stop, and we've got guys that are there that are picking up that, and doing stuff with it. Richie's a key, a key guy there, and I like seeing that. But that means we got to start with someone taking a shot on goal,
right?
And not right in the chest, right
here.
This is not the target for the puck.
You can't miss that target.
I don't care who you are. You're never going to put a puck through a person.
All right, let's talk about some key points to this game. This was put out by the Sarnia Sting earlier on their Facebook, and you already talked a little bit about it, but
yep.
Let's start with number 1. stay out of the box.
And I want to look, and
Why
I want to
is that
say,
an issue,
well, I want to
Chandler?
say, Chandler Romeo, stay out of the box. Dude's a decent player.
Yeah.
You know,
He's brutal.
but there are some seriously, you know, he catches a lot of just poorly timed, some difficult penalties, and you know, right now
There he is.
when they're costing us because our penalty kill is not where it needs to be, you know, we can't have him going off like that.
Well, and
he's a big guy. We need him on the ice to play.
Certainly, he stands
hockey.
out. But there's been others too. I mean,
we
look at the last game, and we won't even get into all of that one.
Half of this is for humor's sake only.
Right. Well,
the other half is Chandler Romeo, stay out of the box.
Right. Okay. So stay out of the box. We established
Yes.
that. And then the next one is move the puck. I think he sort of just kind of alluded to
Yeah.
that a few moments ago. Move the puck. You got a hold of that puck. You got to move it around. You can't stand there waiting for someone else on the team to come and pick it up. If you're the one that's there, you're the one that's there.
Well, and I think the other thing too that's inherent in that key, honestly for me, Dave, is, you know, a 4-foot pass to somebody who's moving back towards our defensive end is not the right movement to make.
That's not the guy.
You know, we need to start hitting some passes that are, you know, onto the stick ahead of the guy so that we capture that forward momentum going into the offensive zone, and we can use that. You know what I mean? We need some little longer passes. One of the key plays that has been really good against us is that stretch pass.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Flint was really good at that. I mean, they're covering half the ice with a pass, and they're hitting their mark.
Well, and
you know, and I think that's the key part of this. You know, we're making these shorter passes, 4-6 feet passes, and we're not hitting our mark. We're hitting the skates of our guy, the stick of the other team, or worse yet, we're passing it to whoever our opponent is. You know, and those are all
and as far as Flint goes, I mean, they were fast, man. I mean, I don't know how many times I looked behind that net when our guy, you know, has the puck and he's thinking about what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And the Flint guys just looked over and said, "I'm not waiting," and they just rushed in there and they looked and was like, "Oh crap, here he comes."
Yeah.
Like we saw a lot of that with Flint, right?
Well, and I think the other thing too, just to add to that too, Dave, is inherent in moving the puck key, is that we spend an awful lot of time battling for the puck on the boards and in the corners. And that's not what we want to be doing. That's where we're taking a lot of aggressive hits. It's where we're getting just clobbered, and we're getting stuck there because we're not moving the puck off the boards into a playable place. There are very few good shots you're going to make off the boards.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So we need to move the puck. We need to stay out of the corners and stop getting our brains beat out in the corners.
Right. And we sort of talked about this already earlier. Put pucks on the net.
Oh.
Don't aim it right at the guy.
Yeah, 100%.
As you like to say,
there's a big red pipe
and there's a
meshy thing in behind. And anywhere that it's open, that's where the goalie's not. That's what you want to shoot at.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they pull that off here tonight. Saginaw here in the house of the Sarnia Sting tonight. And lots of great key points there. And we're not beating up on the Sting. We're just saying this is what's being observed out there. Coach Alan Letang, again, back to him. Kudos to him for being honest with the team straight out.
Yeah.
Those hard conversations, I've always been one to say that if it feels like it's a difficult conversation, it's probably one that needs to be had sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
You know, and and I get that these are young gentlemen, right? But that mindset sometimes they've got to learn how to handle that hard conversation if they're going to go any further. You know, the saying goes, OHL today, NHL tomorrow. Is that? I don't know that we're working that direction right now.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the other thing too, you know, just right along that same lines is, you know, we have to make sure that our leadership, Coach Letang and you know, all our assistant captains and stuff like that on the ice, we can't necessarily be looking to them specifically for that inspiration to play.
Right.
That's got to come from within. So every player on the ice, every person every one of these young men who dons a Sting jersey has to find it in themselves, that inspiration to want to go out there and play hockey and win at hockey. That's not something that you can force on somebody. It's not something that you can just, hey, here's a present, happy birthday, here's some inspiration.
Yeah, there's some work involved.
You got to find it. There's an inner strength and stuff like that, and our guys need to find that again. And I know it's hard when you're getting beat down by,
it's hard to get out.
Really hard. I get it. But we need to. The guys need to find that.
All right.
And if they can find that, it's not we're any short of skill set.
Well, I was going to say we're not lacking the skills out there. So, we'll see if they find that tonight. Inspirational speech from Jay Peckham.
Woohoo!
And
put me in, coach.
And again, one of these days. I don't know if you'll ever be allowed in the locker room.
No,
You'll never be allowed in the referee locker room.
I'm lucky that they let me in the building.
Well, we'll talk about that. All right. So we'll see what happens tonight here. We'll be back. I'm sure my friend Jay Peckham will join me after first period. Hopefully. I can see him. He walks towards me, and I already know if things are good or not.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Coming to you live from the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. I'm David Burrows on behalf of my friend Jay Peckham.
Go Sting, go!